Just right now this morning on Good Day New York. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, so there's so many topics, obviously, we could talk with you probably over the next hour, but the number one topic for most people here, particularly in New York, is the migrant crisis. You know, I think the city can admit they have not done a good job of it. The state has not done a good job with Governor Hochul, but immigration starts at the federal level. Why can't we get anything done federally to kind of intervene here and try and help with this crisis?
Well, I think, first of all, people need to recognize that it's the existing laws, the existing authority on the books that President Biden used to create this crisis. Under sections 1225, 1882, people go through that. They see that he has multiple authorities. It's what President Trump used to actually secure the border, remain in Mexico, make sure people apply from the next safe country as opposed to coming to our border, ending catch and release. He can do that right now, just the way he opened the border using this existing authority. We don't really need new legislation. The problem is that right now the law says the president has discretion to use this authority or to not use it. Unfortunately, he's used it for bad reasons, to open our border and create this unsustainable crisis. Now, we've had legislation passed in the House that would require the president to take these measures that I just mentioned, what President Trump had done, reinstate those policies. The Senate will not allow that bill to the floor for a vote. The Senate bill that they're talking about just once again gives the president more discretion. It actually doesn't require him to keep the border secure.
But it's got bipartisan support. So
yeah, maybe maybe two senators support it. The problem is it doesn't actually do the job. Doesn't actually do the job. It gives the president discretion.
I'm sorry. Yeah, part of it is like a lot of things that Trump did as president wound up getting challenged in the federal courts and overturned. So how much discretion does the president really have, or does this fall more on the two bodies of Congress?
Well, no, the president has discretion right now to end the catch and release, to just make sure that the asylum process is being followed, that people are applying from the next safe country. We should not be incentivizing, as this mayor and governor and the president are doing, for people to take this treacherous, dangerous journey to this country. Many are getting killed, many are being exploited, raped. I mean, there's terrible things that are happening, and you're empowering the drug cartels. Remember, every single person that's coming through the border, incentivized by this government, is in fact spending thousands of dollars that are only enriching the drug cartel. So what we need is to, again, reinstate the policies that were working under the previous administration. We never had this crisis under any other president, Republican or Democrat. This is a crisis created by Joe Biden. Now, there's certain provisions in the Senate bill that I think do have bipartisan support, and we do need to increase the number of visas, family-sponsored visas, employment-sponsored visas, but we need to do it in a proper and orderly way. And if we don't secure the border and stop the unsustainable flow of individuals that are coming in falsely claiming asylum, then we're going to never end this crisis. It'll just continue.
And, you know, we see some crime in the migrant community, and we see now DAs in two parts of the country, one in Arizona, one in New York, fighting over migrants accused of crimes. And now it looks like the mayor is kind of opening up and saying, even though we're a sanctuary city, he's not against notifying ICE about them.
Yeah.
That's a change of course for the mayor.
Yeah, the problem is the law put in place by Bill de Blasio and the city council restricts NYPD from cooperating with ICE. They kicked ICE out of Rikers Island, so people are being released right back onto the street because of the bail law oftentimes, and then on top of it, they're not cooperating with ICE to have those individuals deported. That's what we saw with the individuals that assaulted the police officers, and it's what we saw, sadly, with this individual from Venezuela who then went to Georgia and allegedly murdered that young woman. That was preventable. It is the New York City law that allowed that to be released. And you're seeing right now the Democrat policies from the federal, state, and city level come to a head here. President Biden dismantled the border. Governor and the mayor can incentivize people to come to New York City. The bail law, releasing criminals, whether you're here legally or not, back onto the streets. And then you have the sanctuary policy, which, if you remember, in 2017, when I ran for mayor against Bill de Blasio, that was one of the biggest issues that I brought up during that campaign. And I was accused of being a fearmonger. I was accused of somebody who was being not honest about how this could lead to crime. And yet we're seeing crime spike as a result because of the bail law and the sanctuary policy.
All right. Also, you were one of the people behind this bill to allow non-citizens to vote in New York City.
It stopped it.
Right. Against the bill.
Yeah.
We sued, myself and colleagues from Staten Island sued to stop this law from taking into effect. The law that Bill de Blasio City Council once again put into effect would basically allow anyone that's been living in New York City for 30 days.
30 days.
And
that
has
would
work
include people who are living in our shelters right now?
If they have work authorization, then yes, they would be allowed to register to vote, which is one of the issues that I brought up of why I was concerned about the work authorization that the mayor and the governor had been pushing for. We stopped it in the Supreme Court, and then the mayor appealed. We won in the appellate division. This really should put this to rest. It is unconstitutional. Only United States citizens should vote, and they need to stop trying to strip away the voices of our American citizens and diluting them with policies like this.
All right, now we got to deal with the congressional maps. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
I want to ask you, because we got about 30 seconds left here. You've got to race back down to Washington. You know, a lot of the federal funding has been, extended back in October. Ends this Friday. The other ends a week from Friday. Are we going to get an appropriations bill passed?
I believe we will. Look, we've already avoided a debt default, and I think it's 3 shutdowns. And I've been proud to work in a bipartisan manner to do that. And I think that if the bill comes to the floor, you will see it pass overwhelmingly. Far right, far left will vote against it, as they do with every other bill that we've seen, whether it's a national defense authorization or whatnot. But we should be able to avoid a shutdown. I think that's really important. We want our federal employees to get paid. We want to make sure that we keep the government running. I also do believe, though, we need to find a way to get the Democrats to come to the table to shave spending. We can't continue with the trillions, $34 trillion in debt that we have now, and Americans are hurting. Inflation, it's inflationary spending, unnecessary programs. We need to rein that in, and we need Senator Schumer to come to the table to do that.
All right, we got a lot on the plate.
That's what I say. We could have gone on and on forever.
But the president had time for ice cream yesterday and Seth Meyers, so all's good.
Thank you so much for joining us.
How did nobody
Safe
take us
travels
to
back
see
to
the
Washington.
shelters?
You should go see the mayor,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
Anyway.
it.
Thank you.